is. Am
Yes,
I'm getting these invitations that people are entering the room. Am I supposed to be?
no, I'll take care of that. You don't need to worry about it. I'll be admitting the students. So,
Oh,
will you be sharing your slides?
no.
No. Okay, so then what I can do is I can remove you as the co-host and you
Sure.
will not have any disturbance.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
So, yeah, can I start?
sure.
So today I will be talking about different aspects such as having a healthy relationship with yourself, good judgment, bad judgment, Kipling and his very famous poem, because it is somehow related to being judgmental, and a lot more. So feel free to ask questions and interact whenever you feel it's necessary. So I was a young girl, and peer pressure has been a part of everyone's life. I was told by young girls from my class that if I smoked or drank alcohol or made a boyfriend, maybe I would become well liked by others. I could become a part of the coolest group in school. As a young teenager, it's very easy to give into the thought of being well liked by others. You want validation, and you also want to be liked. You wish to feel belonged. But I wish I had someone to hold my hand and tell me that I don't have to please others or indulge in mature or irresponsible acts to be well liked or accepted by society. A lot of our actions are driven by what others expect or want from us. I mean, have you ever thought, like stopped and thought whether you want to indulge in such an act, or is it just an external force that is telling you to do something? So getting into a relationship, we're always, rushing the idea of falling in love and getting into a relationship, getting married by, those external forces. Society tells you to get married, but are you ready for it? Your peers tell you that maybe getting into a relationship, will make you a cooler person, like a part of the group. But is it something that you want? And is your self-worth dictated by your relationship status? So, getting into a relationship to feel good or feel belonged is false information. Let me tell you, as I grew up, that is what I have learned about relationships and marriage and everything. Do you think marriage solves the problems of your life? I remember telling myself last year that, and I told my father that, once I get married, I will be happy. I got married, new desires made way into my heart. Sometimes I tell myself, once I increase my annual earnings, I will be happier. So human beings never stop wishing. We give too much importance to a person or a desire that if I get this, if I get that, I will be happy after that. So why can't we be happy now, like right now? We can embrace the current situation and yourself and see the actual difference. So as I look back at my life, I've lived a short life right now, so I can't say that with a lot of experience, but I can say this, that the healthiest relationship you can ever have is the one you have with yourself. So many people in this world don't like spending time alone. Many of us, I'm a social creature, I love the company of others, but uh, you know the whole idea of loneliness and being alone for the rest of your life, or even for a brief moment, scares you. It makes you very uncomfortable. Instead, people like to seek attention from others and love from others to validate their sense of happiness. So there was a journal, there is a journal called Science. So they did a recent study in which people would give them electric shocks instead of being alone with their thoughts for 15 minutes. So think about it. How scared are we to be alone, for the rest of our lives? Maybe that thought of loneliness, of being alone for the rest of your life, is driving you to that stage that you want to get married, you want to get into a relationship, and that you want to go out. Have you we are all rats running in a rat race, and how the world is so competitive. We're always trying to be ahead in the race. That's why we lead busy lives. I think it's very rare. Only some of us get to actually stop and have 15 minutes to ourselves. So self love hasn't been a part of my personal journey, because since childhood I would you know seem very underconfident, and I was underappreciated and shy and quiet all of my childhood. So as I grew up, I realized that I don't have to hide in my shelf. Even if I'm perfect someday, people will find flaws in me. I mean, look at Narendra Modi, Mahatma Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi, and other great leaders who are being criticized and also appreciated at the same time. So there will always be these two sides, that you'll have critics, and you will also have those who appreciate you. So I get to see, and Narendra Modi gets a lot of hate, and Biden is getting a lot of hate these days. Kamala Harrison is getting a lot of hate these days. But there are some part of the society who actually like their work, who actually respect them. So there'll always be two sides. I used to think that, why is this person not liking me? Why are they hating on me? And why are they going against me? But I realized, as a part of my journey, that not everybody has to like you. And the thought that we grew up with कि सबको हमें like करना चाहिए, and that's why we have to behave a certain way, is totally wrong. That approach is very wrong. So if Mahatma Gandhi, Narendra Modi, or Rajiv Gandhi, what if they got offended by these criticisms? What if they don't get validation? Would they stop doing what they do? Maybe not. And they don't, because you see a lot of trolls on social media. So you go to Narendra Modi's Instagram page or any page, you will see a lot of hate as well. But does he get bothered by it? He has hired somebody to hold, handle his social media. So now we are like little buds in this situation. We are not political leaders, etc. So how do we control, how do we react to certain trolls or, certain criticisms? We probably, take the path of self development, and we also take the path of self love. Now, self love is very important. If you're sure in this whole body, if you're sure about yourself, if you are happy, with yourself, I don't think these trolls will matter someday. I grew up in a setting that, with all respect, my father, mother have given me a great, I had a great upbringing, but there were settings where I was underappreciated, and I felt very, what do you say, not insecure, but in a way, sometimes, I was not appreciated for the way I am. So it took a long journey for me to get here and talking right in front. So it took many years to do that. So once I stopped thinking that I don't need validation of others, that's when I realized, I can just be happy in any setting. Whether I'm 15 minutes alone, going out for a walk alone, even traveling alone, I just have to be happy within myself. Happiness is intrinsic. You cannot uh, depend on others to make you happy. So listening to people is for constructive feedback is great. That if it's valid, if it's doing some good for you, but that's valid. Take constructive feedback. But if somebody is constantly pulling you down, don't get bothered by it and hide in your shell, because you will meet a lot of people who like you and who don't like you, but you don't have to get bothered by the fact that you're being liked or disliked. So cutting back to the chase, nobody is ever going to complete you. There's this thought कि प्यार, मोहब्बत हमें complete करता है. But you feel loved, you feel appreciated. It's a great feeling to be loved, but happiness is an inside job. You can achieve it on your own by self-development and personal growth. Nobody is, your husband, wife, children are not going to handhold you and, make you happy. It's not their job. It's an intrinsic job, like you have to work on your happiness yourself, and it's not a very hard job. So we talk about unconditional love. If you have the power to shower love on others unconditionally, I'm sure you do that. And you should do the same with yourself because you deserve it. And so this brings me to the point that how can you practice the art of self love? Maybe sit for your thoughts all alone for 15 minutes. It's very hard to take out 15 minutes, 20 minutes for yourself every day. But it's just 15 minutes. You maybe spend more time on Netflix and social media. Go out on a walk alone, try to enjoy the natural beauty and the beauty, that the planet has offered, and God has offered. God has given you a life. You should enjoy it. And forget about judgment and think what makes you happy. Often we are like fearful of judgment, and that's why we don't move forward in life and do things that we truly love. So if it doesn't hurt anyone, you must go ahead and live your life. That's what I say. So another aspect I really want to discuss today is social media. So, social media is playing a big role in our lives. We are constantly swayed by the idea of getting likes, putting our lives out there. There is nothing wrong with putting your lives out in public like a platter, but getting obsessed by social media could be detrimental for your mental health. Why? And how do you get obsessed? So I know a person in my circle who would get disturbed if they didn't get likes on their social media pictures. They would start thinking that maybe they're doing something wrong and need to amplify their game plan. So social media is the biggest obstacle, if not the biggest, but one of the obstacles in the journey of self-love. How is that? So Theodore Roosevelt, he said that comparison is the thief of joy. So kya hota hai when you open social media, any page, take Instagram or Facebook or even LinkedIn for that matter, which is used for professional goals. But you do stalking of your previous classmates and maybe your ex-boyfriend, ex-wife, ex-husband, anybody. You stalk them and you start comparing. You see somebody maybe fitter than you or fatter than you or anybody, and you start comparing that uski life itni better hai, wo itna acha dikhta hai. So you start with that comparing thing, that steals your joy because you start comparing and you start putting out things that will help you get those likes. So social media is good in a way that you can share everything with your friends and foes and everybody, but it is also stealing your happiness because you're comparing all the time. You are comparing your feed with your friends, saying that usko 400 likes mile but mujhe 4 likes mile. So we are constantly thinking कि अगर हमें 4 likes मिले हैं और अगर मेरी friend को 400 likes मिले, maybe there's something wrong with him. Maybe I'm not as pretty, or maybe I'm not as popular as the other one. So the comparison, uh, let's say two friends are there, and it gives them negative feelings when you start comparing, jealousy, insecurity, and certain level of discomfort. So I think social media is being a little bit of a frenemy, or let's say an enemy for the youth, because we're constantly comparing ourselves with one another. And in the modern day of technology, it's easy to get caught up in the idea that online praise gives one self greater worth. Some people will get 400 likes on a photo and another person may get just 2 or 3 likes. So it doesn't mean that if you have 4 likes is means that you don't have any worth. Maybe the followers on your page are doing something as they're busy, and some people are actually living real lives and off social media. So what can you do about it, this whole idea of self-worth and social media? You can do a little detox, like a social media detox. It doesn't harm you. See, for yourself like 2 days if you do not do Instagram or Facebook, see how it feels. You can probably delete social media handles for a while. It will give you perspective whether you can live without it or not. Also, you can change your thought process. Don't be governed by likes or dislikes and what people are saying. Or else, if it really bothers you, maybe you can stop adding strangers and expect them to like you or dislike you, or any false expectation for that matter. So when you start thinking about liking yourself and not letting your mood be governed by a few likes, then your self-worth journey will begin. So now I would like to add a little sociological theory here. Since I'm from the sociology background, I love to add examples of sociological theorists and maybe a little bit of psychology as well, although I'm not a major in it. So, but I did my research, and I would love to share, first of all, a sociological theory. So he's one of my favorite theorists, American, Irving Goffman. So he talks about dramaturgy. It's one of the theories. And as I was growing up, I was really intrigued by his theory, and have, always quoted to everybody. So Irving Goffman's theory of dramaturgy talks about how we are living on the front stage and backstage. And just for information, Irving Goffman is a American theorist. So as per him, human beings are like actors in a play. Basically, हम actors हैं और ये पूरा world हमारा stage है. So there are two stages, front stage and backstage. So we use impression management to portray ourselves in front of the world. We want to impress people by putting out an act that is well liked by others. Human beings are performing actions every day, just like they are performers on stage. Now, instead of everyday life, let me take the example of social life, the one we live on social media platforms. ये अभी हमने discuss किया था. So there are many influencers. Maybe आप जानते होगे, maybe आप नहीं जानते होगे. So there are many social media influencers, and their life depends on likes and dislikes and comments. That is how they're getting money. So let's say there is a fitness influencer or a fashion influencer. Agar unka influence hoga, people like, comment, and it leads to business, then obviously they get more popularity and they become a big name. So there is one fashion influencer that you may be aware of. There is Komal Pandey, Miss Komal Pandey from Instagram, so who happens to be a very big fashion influencer. But what I really noticed, that she has publicly claimed that her mental health gets affected by her followers' negative comments. So when you're putting yourself out there on social media, there will be critics. When your profile is open, there will be strangers coming in. There are days people might like you, they may not like you. So there will be a lot of people who also applaud you, but that does not mean that it has power to affect your mental health. So once you're doing that, are you actually good at influencing? Maybe not. So just like Irving Goffman says that we are performing actions every day, like we are performers on stage, it can be applied to social media as well. So our mood and thoughts are driven by how well liked we are on social media. A single negative comment can affect someone who who has no iota of self-worth. So let me stress on this fact, because I, as a little girl, I didn't get this advice. And so if somebody is younger to me and who probably needs this advice, is that perfection is unachievable. So why are we so hard on ourselves when we are not even perfect? There are imperfections in everybody, not just physical, but maybe perhaps intellectual or anything. But you can always work upon it, and for yourself to be happy within yourself. So self-love isn't creating a better or a perfect version of yourself. It's about accepting who you are and realizing that you don't have to be anyone else. So you have to be comfortable in your own skin, in your self-worth journey. So now let's look at the psychological angle here. Uh, I mean, did you know that people have started designing courses for personal self development? Because I had one of my clients from UK. So she's been designing courses for self development and stress, anxiety, etc. Uh, these are not experts, by the way. I'm just telling you very candidly. They are not experts on mental health, etc. But having said that, anger, stress, personal development, controlling your thoughts, emotions are well within your reach. अगर कोई डिजाइन कर रहा है कोर्स, आई एम श्योर उनके पास भी कोई कंट्रोल मैकेनिज्म होगा, एंड दैट्स व्हाई देयर दे आर एबल टू control the thoughts and work towards personal development. So it's not that कि अगर आप ऐसी situation में हो that you don't love yourself, that you feel underappreciated, that you don't feel that you're worthy of anything. It doesn't mean that you are not worthy of anything. You have the power to change the situation and be happy. So the beauty of the world is that we have ample of opportunities and choices in this lifetime. So it is because human beings have the power to change their circumstances, mood, lives, and opportunities. That's the beauty of this world. So getting back to the psychological aspect, I'll be sharing how you can make the unconscious conscious. So in psychology, you will find 4 stages of incompetence. These are unconscious incompetence, conscious incompetence, conscious competence, and unconscious competence. So the first one that we are talking about is unconscious incompetence, is about problems that you don't know about. They exist in your life, but your heart and mind are unaware of it, कि वो exactly क्या है. So at this stage, you are unaware कि problem क्या है exactly. Problem है भी या नहीं, you don't know. So if you don't know what it is, how can you fix it? So that's why we go to the next stage, conscious incompetence. So the second stage is when you start realizing that there is a problem. So this is the beginning of the journey, that you realize कि हाँ कोई problem हो सकती है. So this is also the stage where you realize that something is missing in your life or you are unhappy. So ये stages से तो मैं भी गुजरी हूँ. You and me are the same people. Actually, everybody is the same. You can't say that life is perfect. People tell me that, Anshu, your life is so perfect. You got the love that you deserve and everything is good. But, I'll tell you, nothing is perfect. No relationship is perfect. Nobody's life is perfect. Nobody can be perfect. No situation can be perfect. It's just that how you view it, how you make it, how you see the silver lining, how you find hope in that situation, that makes you, different from anybody else. So we were talking about the stages. So the third stage is when you take charge of your life and do something about it. It takes willingness and commitment to put an end to your miseries. So the idea may be foreign to you, but it will get there, with a little bit of patience. फाइनल स्टेज होता है जब आपको समझ आ जाता है कि अब आप अपने इमोशंस और थॉट्स को कैसे कंट्रोल कर सकते हो. सो यू हैव लर्न द आर्ट ऑफ कंट्रोलिंग योर थॉट्स एंड नॉट गेटिंग बॉर्डर्ड बाय व्हाट पीपल से और डू. मोरोवर, जब आप फाइनल स्टेज पे पहुंचते हो, विच इज अनकॉन्शियस कॉम्पिटेंस, आपको अब लगता है कि जो ऑब्स्टिकल्स आपकी लाइफ में आ रही हैं वो आपको एक अपॉर्चुनिटी देंगे लर्न करने के लिए. So I have been dating my husband, matlab ab husband ho gaye, but we've been dating for 15 years. It's been more than 15 years. So he is always a positive man. He's seen me in that journey of becoming this shy person to this vibrant butterfly. So yeah, so he's always been a positive man, and so he's also been a part of my life's journey. And uh, so he tells me that, Anshu, people should be solution focused and not problem focused, because he says that there are only solutions, no problems. So ऐसा कोई भी सिचुएशन इन द वर्ल्ड नहीं है, कोई भी चीज इन द वर्ल्ड नहीं है जिसका कोई सोल्यूशन ही ना हो. मे बी यू कैन आस्क मी कि मेरी ये प्रॉब्लम है, आई वुड टेल यू सोल्यूशन इसका ये है. बिकॉज if there's a person who's positive, who's happy, they will look at the silver lining. They will not look at ki, oh no, XYZ बड़ी सैड बात हो गई, अब आप कैसे इस प्रॉब्लम से निकलोगे. इफ यू आर हैप्पी, पॉजिटिव, इफ योर माइंड फ्रेम इज राइट, you will find a silver lining, I'm sure. So in the journey of personal development, there are two things. One is having a fixed mindset, and two, having a growth mindset. अब मैं फिर से साइकोलॉजी में चली गई हूँ. So the growth mindset is when people think they can become better. आप ये नहीं सोच रहे कि आप हो बेटर, आप ये नहीं सोच रहे कि मैं तो महान हूँ, मैं महात्मा गांधी हूँ, मैं चेंज कर सकता हूँ वर्ल्ड को, आई डोंट हैव टू चेंज अ थिंग अबाउट माई सेल्फ. यू think, with a growth mindset, you think that you can become better, more talented, more skilled, and they also feel, or you also feel that you can modify yourself and become a learned person via experience. सो फिक्स माइंडसेट ये होता है. अब फिक्स माइंडसेट की मतलब ये नहीं है कि आप बहुत ज्यादा ओवर कॉन्फिडेंट हो. यू कैन बी अंडर कॉन्फिडेंट एज वेल. सो फिक्स माइंडसेट में ये हो जाता है व्हेन यू फील दैट मे बी यू आर परफेक्ट एट एवरीथिंग, और आप सब कुछ में खराब हो. तो या तो आपने सोच लिया है कि ठान लिया है कि आप अपनी सिचुएशन बदल ही नहीं सकते हो, या फिर आपको लगता है कि आपसे महान कोई नहीं है. सो their thought process, the second type fixed mindset का ये होता है, thought process होता है कि जो टैलेंट और इंटेलिजेंस है उसको हम बढ़ा ही नहीं सकते, enhance कर ही नहीं सकते. So this category of people, the second one, they give up too soon and they quit too easily. So having a growth mindset is very important in this world. So as we move forward, I would like to touch on the very important subject, which is, are you judgmental and is it a good thing or a bad thing? It was in the discourse 20. So it will be very short, but it's very relevant in today's world because all of us are judgmental. At some point or the other, hum sab judgmental rahe hain. So what does it mean that when we are judgmental? So when we are judgmental, we are constantly looking for ways to find fault in others, situations, objects, and more. हम किसी की अच्छाई देख ही नहीं सकते हैं, हम उसको अपने लेंस से देख रहे हैं. We are seeing it from Anshu lens, or we are seeing it from XYZ lens. So being judgmental can't be bad all the time because we need judgment to decide whether something is right or wrong. Let's say मैं घर में अकेली हूँ, आप घर में अकेले हो. So would you open the door without looking or checking who is there? You need judgment here as well, because if you peep through the hole, so see who it is, and then आप दरवाजा खोलोगे, that makes more sense. So right judgment saves us from potentially dangerous situations. So now please note कि being judgmental and making judgments are two different things. आप ये नहीं बोल सकते कि उसकी judgment अच्छी है. Doesn't mean कि वो judgmental है. Judgmental means आप दूसरों में faults निकाल रहे हो and you are very negative, and so judgmental is when you talk behind somebody's back, or you say it on the face and question any, all the acts of the other person. So how do you get to know that you're a judgmental person? ये exercise मैं हर रोज करती हूँ. मैं अपने आप से पूछती हूँ कि मैंने किसी को जज किया, क्या मैं judgmental हो रही हूँ? मतलब it is very difficult for ourselves to realize कि हम judgmental हो रहे हैं. हमारे वर्ल्ड में हम judgmental हो ही नहीं सकते, हम बहुत अच्छे हैं, हम सबसे अच्छे हैं. बट आपको कुछ क्वेश्चन सबसे पूछने पड़ेंगे that will make you realize that whether you are judgmental or not. So if you're a judgmental person, you think you are either good, you start thinking that people can be either bad or good. आपने टैग लगाना है कि ये अच्छा इंसान है, वो बुरा इंसान है. So आपने देखा है जैसे prostitutes, divorcees, उन पे टैग लग गया है कि उन्होंने कुछ खराब किया होगा. prostitutes kharab. We have formed that judgment. There are instances that I see red alert areas where prostitutes are standing. So people pass by looking at them, in a disgusting way. Divorcees hote hain, aunties and uncles start talking, अरे उसने कुछ किया होगा, लड़की में कुछ खराबी होगी. So we form this kind of judgment without knowing the story of this person. Prostitution may, it's for some people it's a choice, but for some people, you have to consider it a profession. It's not something wrong, because they're also making a living. It could be a choice, it could be forced. So you cannot judge somebody's profession without knowing their story also. Maybe they made a conscious decision. And divorce, I grew up in a household. My mom used to say कि हमारे घर में किसी का divorce नहीं हुआ है, and हमारे घर में like 7 जन्मों का बंधन होता है. It's good. Having 7 जन्मों का बंधन is great. Everybody aspires to have 7 जन्मों का बंधन, but being in a loveless marriage does not make any sense. You need to have love, trust, patience, understanding, a lot of key ingredients in that marriage. Otherwise, being in that marriage for kids is samjhauta. So I do not endorse that. So I grew up with the thought ki divorcees, prostitutes, or somebody marrying a younger person, older person, or whatever the situation is, you cannot judge anybody. At least from your own lens. You don't know the person's situation, or how are they, and हमारे language में हम उनको social outcast बोल देते हैं. But truly, who are we to judge them? अगर हम बोलते हैं कि society ने ये rules बनाए, हम ही society यानी we can change that, as a society. So how are you judgmental? Are you judgmental? So you also struggle to see the beauty in others. You think that everybody is wrong. And sometimes I also think that maybe the world is wrong, I'm right. But then, again, you need to self-analyze, are you perfect? So how are you, judgmental? You skip to conclusions and don't care to evaluate the situation. And you're also generally pessimistic in life. जो judgmental होते हैं ना, वो happiness ढूंढ ही नहीं सकते. So you have to, maybe stop being judgmental and insecure, and live your life without being pessimistic or judging others all the time. So here's how you can help yourself. I'm not a therapist, but I can tell you from experience what you can do is stop talking to toxic people and remove them from your life. You don't need them. आपको कोई constantly judge कर रहा है, constantly आपको, I hear some disturbance. Yeah. So, hello, sir.
Hello.
So, getting back to the topic, so how you help yourself, like non-judgmental. So, you mute your, yeah, thank you. So you should surround yourself with people who cheer for you and do not talk ill of others. You need to surround yourself with a good crowd, with a good circle. My father always says that, you should surround yourself with positive people and surround yourself with the people who do not pull you down. So, I have always noted that from my father, that your circle matters a lot. And if there are positive and good people around you, you will always lead a happy life. So it's okay to forgive yourself as well. We have been on the boat of judging others, and it's all right. We're human. I have done that. You have done that. Everybody does that. So at some point of life, if we've been judgmental, do not think that you're a bad human. Circumstances होते हैं, आपका circle ऐसा होता है that you आप भावनाओं में शायद बह जाते हो and हो जाता है गलती. So learn to forgive yourself in that case. And get in touch with the inner child. Children do not judge. They simply focus on playing and enjoying. अगर आपको अपने बचपन के दिन याद आएंगे, do you remember कि आप रेत में खेल रहे हो and garden में खेल रहे हो and आपने खड़े होके जज बोला, बोला कि अरे उसकी पिंक ड्रेस अच्छी नहीं है, अरे उसका टॉय कितना खराब है. You never do that. Kids focus on enjoying life, playing, and they do not have any judgments in their head. So ask yourself, are you 100% sure that it's the truth? Do I know the whole story before judging somebody? हम किसी का situation judge कर ही नहीं सकते because we don't know the 100% truth. Sadly, serials have kind of messed with our heads and we just focus on half baked truth, and कभी कभी हम तड़का डाल के अपने आप भी उसको एक story बना देते हैं. So we are also quick to form judgments. Sometimes we make judgments based on someone's social standing as well. And it reminds me of a poem from Rudyard Kipling. So since the discourse had this most famous poem of Rudyard Kipling, I cannot say it's the most famous, but I think it really makes sense over here, and I would love to share it with you. And with that, we'll end this session. So don't mind me reciting it for you. I went into a public house to get a pint of beer. The publican and says, "We serve no redcoats here." The girls behind the bars, they laughed and giggled fit to die. I ought into the street again, and myself says I, "Oh, it's Tommy this, Tommy that, and Tommy go away. But thank you, Mr. Atkins, when the band begins to play." The band begins to play, my boys, the band begins to play. Oh, it's thank you, Mr. Atkins, when the band begins to play. Tommy, by Rudyard Kipling, enters a bar where he's refused a pint of beer he orders because he's a redcoat, a soldier. So the girls behind the counter laugh and giggle, mocking him. Surprisingly, when the drum roll and the parade begins, the same people start cheering for him, saying, "Thank you, Mr. Atkins," while otherwise it is "Tommy, go away." So this is about a soldier जो टेक्निकली जब तक वो सोल्जर है, ड्रम्स प्ले कर रहे हैं, उनके लिए चीयर हो रहा है, तब तक people will respect him. But when same Tommy, when a soldier is at rest, and he's does not have that badge or that uniform, he's not given as much respect. So हम कभी कभी क्या, it's like all the time हम judgment form करते हैं लोगों के लिए based on their title. So फॉर एग्जाम्पल, अगर आपको जो पुलिस होती है, ट्रैफिक पुलिस रोकेगी यूनिफॉर्म में, तो आप डर जाएंगे कि अरे आज तो चालान कटेगा, आप रिस्पेक्ट से बात करेंगे. सेम ट्रैफिक पुलिस आपको बाहर मिलेगा एंड विदाउट यूनिफॉर्म, यू विल से अरे ये कौन है. सो हम जज कर लेते हैं पीपल को. नाउ दिस इज the other form of judgment, but once again I think we should treat people equally and not judge anybody on the basis of their title or the profession they choose, anything at all. So similarly, I would suggest you not to judge divorcees or prostitutes or anybody for that matter, anybody at all. Everybody has made a choice in their life. So with that, let me get back to the poem. I went into a theater as sober as could be. They gave a drunk civilian room, but ain't no one for me. They sent me to the gallery or round the music halls. But when it comes to fighting, Lord, they'll shove me in the stalls. For it's Tommy this and Tommy that, Tommy wait outside. But it's special train for Atkins when the troopers on the tide. The troop ships on the tide, my boys, the troop ships on the tide. Oh, it's special train for Atkins when the troopers on the tide. So the people found it easier to accept a drunken, than a soldier fighting for them. They had room for a drunk civilian in the theater, but had no seat for Tommy. He was promptly sent to the gallery or to the music halls. However, when it comes to going on wars, they will shove them into stalls to fight for their safety and their countries. He will be given a special train and will be encouraged to lay down his life for these people. So basically, as I end this session, I would like to say that जब आप सेल्फ वर्थ की जर्नी में जाते हैं, सेल्फ लव की जर्नी में जाते हैं, You need to get in touch with yourself, the inner self. Stop judging others. Stop seeking validation from people, and don't think that your happiness depends on someone else. Another person, another object. You need to find happiness within yourself. Think that uh, situations are perfect. Think from a lens that every problem has a solution. Be solution focused. And also, uh, once you stop seeking validation, and once you start thinking that your life is perfect as it is, you will be on the path of self love, and you will start accepting yourself, and you will be a happier person. So with that, I come to an end. And uh, just a little note before I go. Stop judging others. It's a note to myself as well. And stop judging people on the basis of where they're from, how they dress, their body shape, or their occupation, or anything at all. I think once we do that, we will be a happier person, because uh, when we are not thinking about the flaws of others and thinking of living a more meaningful life with positive thoughts, we are a happier person. So, yeah, thank you.
That's so true. I completely agree with what you said, and it's really actually necessary to have to actually stay happy and not judge anybody, and
And
that
you
actually
need to
helps.
surround yourself with good people, positive people,
Exactly.
not judge others.
Yeah, that is so true. All right, everyone. So, if you have any doubts or your queries, you can please post that in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself and ask from her. Any doubts, anyone? All right, so we have one response from Preeti in the chat box. She says, very inputs on being judgmental. Nowadays, many women are coming out in support of each other. Exactly, yeah, especially in respect to body shaming, etc. Very true. So, before this used to happen that वो कहते थे कि औरत ही औरत की दुश्मन है, but that is actually changing now, and women are supporting each other, and things are changing. And yeah, so you would want to say something on this
About what?
about what Preeti has posted in the chat box?
Yeah, absolutely. I think body shaming, prostitution, and a lot of things, women are coming out and, coming forward to support everybody. And I see a lot of content on body positivity. See, I'm not saying that, that you should not love your body. Of course, if it is something that you want, and if it gives you happiness, then do it. But another person doesn't have the right to tell you what to do. So and also calling out somebody is wrong. And it's good, I think, the fact is changing, that aurtein aurton ki dushman hoti hai, that's changing a lot right now. And luckily, and hopefully aisa hi rahe aage jaake, because we need women to support each other. Because I see a lot. I came from a girls' college, and women were my biggest enemies. I was just waiting for college to finish. I was like, I will never go to this a girls' college, or anywhere, like anymore. So, but thankfully, people are changing, and divorce rates are also rising a bit, because people are more, acceptable to the idea ki. Love matters in a relationship, in a marriage. And आप समझौता करके जिंदगी भर नहीं जी सकते हो. So it's good that people are a little more accepting now, and women are not being enemies to other women. So that is great. Yeah. Any more questions?
Absolutely. Great. So, thank you so much, ma'am. Yes, Hari
हेलो.
Krishna, you want to say
हाँ,
something?
हेलो.
Hi.
मुझे लग रहा है कि ये जो हैं ये शायद मेल्स भी इससे अफेक्टेड हैं. ये जो
किससे हरे कृष्ण?
सोशल मीडिया पे जो है कि बॉडी इमेजेस इतनी ज्यादा चल रही हैं और सारी
हाँ.
चीजें चल रही हैं, तो इससे मुझे लग रहा है मेल्स भी उतने ही अफेक्टेड हैं. हम सारे ही अफेक्टेड हो गए हैं.
सारे I think even men are also very conscious about their looks and likes and all of that, बहुत ज्यादा,
और ये कहीं ना
especially from females.
नहीं, और कहीं ना कहीं ये शायद मार्केटिंग गिमिक है, क्योंकि क्योंकि सामान तो तभी बिकेगा ना जब आप किसी को उसकी नीड फेल्ट कराओगे.
एग्जैक्टली फॉल्स नीड तो बहुत लोग क्रिएट कराते हैं कि हाँ आप अगर जैसे जो फेयरनेस क्रीम्स वगैरह होता है तो वो आप में फॉल्स नीड करा देते हैं कि हाँ गोरा होना ही ट्रेंड में है इसलिए आप खरीदो.
और this is the reason that why in our houses we have more products than what is available at a shop.
Yeah,
isn't
true,
it?
True,
so
true.
we don't have space for ourselves but for our things.
Absolutely, materialistic world है.
तो ये शायद सोशल मीडिया भी उसी का एस्पेक्ट है.
डेफिनेटली वो तो है ही. मतलब सोशल मीडिया इज द विलन इन एवरीथिंग. और अगर देखा जाए आईफोन किसी के पास अगर है, ठीक है, वो आईफोन 10 निकालेंगे, 12 निकालेंगे, जबकि आपके पास आईफोन है लेकिन वो फॉल्स नीड क्रिएट करेंगे कि अब आईफोन नया वाला आ गया, इसमें और बेटर फीचर्स होंगे तो आप और एक आईफोन खरीदिए. सो दैट वो नीड तो पैदा सोशल मीडिया ही करता है.
ये तो आज आपका बहुत अच्छा लेक्चर था. हमें तो डिटॉक्स होना ही पड़ेगा, अदरवाइज विल कीप ऑन बाइंग.
You need to sit down with your thoughts, not think about anything. बच्चे थोड़ा सा break दो and just be with your thoughts once in a while. Take a break.
और आपके बाल बहुत घने हैं, मैं देख रही थी. तो anything special? Any special care?
I'm a Bengali, so yeah.
Okay. तो वो मछलियों का सारा वो आपके बालों पे ही आ गया है.
मछलियों का
असर. Okay जी, okay, thank you.
Thank you, Hari Krishna.
Okay, thank you. We have one more question from Madhushri. Yes, Madhushri, you can unmute.
Yes, good evening to all of you. My question is that you said that being judgmental, means negatively judgmental, is bad. So can we remain positively judgmental? I mean, or overall being judgmental is not good at all. That is what my question is. Means positively judgmental means I am talking about appreciation. And just now Harikishni appreciated your hair, so that's why means that feel good factor is there,
appreciating right? My hair, not judging my hair, maybe. Okay. देखिए जजमेंटल होना, सी जजिंग अ सिचुएशन इज गुड. घर पे कोई बाहर आया, आप देख रहे हो, पूछ रहे हो कौन हो आप, फेयर. आप अपना ये सोच रहे हो कि आपको इस लड़के से शादी करनी चाहिए कि नहीं, आप प्रोज एंड कॉन्स देखते हो, तब जजमेंटल होना ठीक है, बिकॉज वो बहुत बड़ा डिसीजन ऑफ लाइफ होता है. बट अगर आप साइड में किटी पार्टी करके बैठ के बोल रहे हो, अरे यार वो तो लड़की ठीक नहीं है, उसकी सास ने इसको ऐसे बोला कि उसमें कोई खोट होगा, नाउ दैट इज बीइंग bad wala judgmental. So I think that answers that should answer your question.
Yeah, we have one more question from Manjul.
Yes, Manjul.
Thank you, Madhushri.
Yes, basically, I think you were telling about that. Means we have been saying in Bengali, Poroninda Porochorcha is not good. That's the thing, right? Means PNPC is not good. Means Parninda Parcharcha is not good.
Not good at all. अगर जजमेंटल होना है तो अपने हस्बैंड के लिए ठीक है कि नहीं.
Thank you.
Okay, मधुश्री. और कोई क्वेश्चन?
Yes, Manjul, you can go ahead and ask your question.
Yes, Manjul. Somebody has raised their hand.
हेलो, हाँ मैम, ये नहीं एग्री
Yes.
करती, जैसे अभी लास्ट हेलो
Yeah, ma'am.
हेलो, हाँ, तो मैम बीइंग इन सिचुएशन कि आपने जैसे डिस्कस किया कि प्रोस्टिट्यूट्स है या कोई डिवोर्सी है, तो उसकी चीजों को एनालाइज करना, पासिंग ए जजमेंट इज अनदर थिंग एंड बीइंग जजमेंटल इन योर थिंकिंग इज अनदर थिंग। तो मैं इस एक ओपिनियन के हमेशा जजमेंटल होना गलत है या रिएक्टिंग टू फास्ट, अभी मैं क्विज देख रही थी तो अपलोड की गई, उसमें ऑप्शन सही दिया गया है कि रिएक्टिंग टू फास्ट इज बेटर देन बीइंग जजमेंटल। तो इन जनरल जब आप थिंकिंग की बात कर रहे हैं, किसी चीज को सोचने की बात कर रहे हैं, तो किसी भी सिचुएशन की आप प्लस माइनस देख के ही डिसीजन लेंगे। एकदम से रिएक्ट करना कहाँ तक ठीक है?
नहीं, रिएक्ट सी एकदम इमीडिएट रिएक्शंस देना इज नॉट नीडेड। यू नो, आपको सोच विचार करना जरूरी है। इनफैक्ट इट्स वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट लाइफ के बड़े डिसीजंस में। जजमेंट एंड पॉजिटिव जजमेंट, अगर आप जजमेंट कर रहे हो कि मुझे उसके साथ फ्रेंड्स बनना चाहिए कि नहीं, knowing their background, knowing their how they are with other people, now that is like ठीक है, आप अपने बारे में सोच रहे हो, आप अपनी what is good for your life, what is not good for your life, आप वो सोच रहे हो. But if you are forming a judgment not knowing the truth about somebody, then that is like a negative judgment. And also talking, giving illicit comments and judgment for somebody is not a good thing. So I don't know if that answers your question, but of course हमें सोचना चाहिए हर situation में react करने की जगह हमें, but we don't have to judge the situation. We form a judgment, and being judgmental and forming a judgment are two different things. I hope you know that. I hope that answers your question, Manjul Gupta. We lost her, I think.
No, yes, she has replied on the chat box that okay.
Okay, but very good question, Manjul Gupta. Very good question.
Great. All right, so that was an interesting question and answer session. Any other questions, anyone, or we can then end the session?
Yeah, feel free to ask any question if you like.
All right, I guess there are no more questions. Thank you so much, Anshu ma'am. That was an enlightening session, and you rightly pointed out amazing things that we should take care of. And thank you so much for today's session, and thank you to the participants for being actively taking part in the session. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, everybody, for joining, and thank you, Professor T.K. Mishra, sir, Dr. Anshika, for this opportunity. And it's great to be, part of these sessions and share my insights. But please know that I'm not a mental health expert. I'm only a positive, happy person. So I hope that helps.
No, that definitely helps. Yeah. It's actually not necessary to be a mental health expert to talk about mental health, because we actually, all of us actually have different experiences in life, and we learn a lot from that, and we can always share our insights with
absolutely, Sanskriti, absolutely.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.